All right.
Says we're live right now, so we got that going. Um, this is a test. Salute to everybody. Good evening to the Freedom Marchers, Freedom Family, Freedom Lovers, and Freedom Fighters out there. Snapzilla Gorillas in the building with the lovely Black Spring with Autumn. And yeah, go ahead and say hi to the people.
Hi, everyone. It's Black Spring with Autumn here.
Yes. And it looks like this looks like the normal operation of YouTube. So we'll see what's going to happen. But so you want to break down what you are looking forward to presenting to people about what's going on with Donald Trump? You want to give a little teaser?
Yeah, well, I guess I'm just looking forward to. I guess I'm just looking forward to making some connections and not really try not to operate from in a vacuum. Kind of want to. I mean, more of a kind of a big picture. I mean, there's plenty of smaller details that I think we can all go in many directions in that regard. But I have a tendency to look for patterns and motives,
Yeah.
motifs rather.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at most things, and yeah, it always brings it either creates unity or it's repetition that creates the unity. So that's kind of my approach on many things.
Right.
Uh, yeah. So I think that's the seasoning of sight and cycling of many things is it doesn't fail.
No, it doesn't. Right. So I mean, repetition. Right. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. That's how you get better. Repetition, repetition, repetition. That's something I learned when I'm in the gym, when I was going through boxing and Muay Thai training. You're like, why are we doing this over and over again? Well, because you build muscle memory, right? You build muscle memory and it's automatic, it's instinctual, it's natural, it becomes second nature. So the same thing goes with information, right? Right.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
if you doing a spelling bee, you know, guess what? You repeat the words over and over, you write them down over and over again. And my idea is to keep pushing the message of freedom, right? Over and over and over again. And eventually it catches on, right? So that's my angle. So I'll always use whatever opportunity, whatever evidence points towards pushing us to look. We need to look at another option besides the one
Yeah.
they bring to us. You know what I'm saying? So look at Jimmy Nguyen in the building. Yes, it
Yeah.
is for night vision. So if you guys aren't familiar with Black Spring with Autumn, she has been in the YouTube streets a little bit around the same time I was. I mean, she got her first 1,000 like a couple days before me, and that was during the Modelo 19 pandemic, and we're really stomping down on the voices, speaking out about that particular super bug, right? The gain of function research bug,
Yeah.
and
That.
they're really clamping down with the censorship and the shadow banning, and we both kind of got caught up in that. So Black Spring, you want to tell us about your journey?
Yes, yes, and I'll say I'll go back to it was pre. I say the CB19,
You
uh,
said 19.
the CB19, and also I was I had my own walk away moment, and it didn't take a turn for the worst. It actually, I think it was a turn for. And I started out on a walk away movement, which was almost like just more of a higher awareness, like
Yeah.
more a political. I started out kind of on a political awareness.
Mm-hmm. You're
Those.
on.
I'm sorry about that.
No,
That was a call. I'm not sure how to zap out of it.
you might have to when you get calls, it's annoying when you're on the phone doing a live and uh you might have to turn your camera icon on and off.
Okay, let me try that. I'll like kind of recycle it a little bit.
Yeah. Let Jimmy Nguyen finding greatness is in the building. No such thing as freedom. That's that's not true, but we're gonna talk about that at some point. Right now, this is basically just a test. I don't have long to be on here. I got to get my daughter to her prom, or not her prom, homecoming, her homecoming dance, and so we'll probably come on when I get back from that. So, uh, genius tutors. I don't know why you're worried about that. I mean, much power to you if that's on your mind. But yeah, we're not on that. We're not on the rainbow riding. You understand? Tony Montana, yo, I saw you at Walmart last night buying baby oil and cucumbers. Yeah, good for you, man. Neil Sporn says she's cool too. Does she have a channel? Yes, she has a channel. It's Black Spring with Autumn. Uh, Black Spring. I don't know if you have the ability to drop a link in the chat so people can come check you out.
Let me. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. All right. What I'll do is I will actually. I might be able to do it from the computer back to the phone.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll try to get that a copy and paste for you on that.
Okay.
But
Sound
yes, I will get it going here. Just a
okay.
second.
Jimmy asked also, Bang, you still using Discord? I ain't used Discord in a minute. I'm gonna be honest with you. Salute to Russell Lee Master. Salute to you. So Black Spring is someone that I came across during I think my second year doing YouTube, and it was during it was right before the Modelo 19 pandemic happened, and yeah, she is she put in a lot of work on YouTube, and they really wasn't trying to have it right, so you know you know how that goes.
You know
Uh,
what's funny? I'm sorry. It's I'm trying to. I can send a hi, but I'm not right now. I'm not able to drop anything for whatever reason here.
well, maybe when if you do it from your computer later, you'll
Okay.
you'll be able to go on the phone.
Okay.
So you got to share. Did you copy your link?
I did, and I was gonna drop it, but there's no open chat for me to do. The only thing I could do was
Say hi.
to say hi. That's that they gave me the hand. They
Right.
gave me the hand only is
You
all
might
I.
do it from the computer then.
Let
That
me, yeah, let me go on and
yeah,
try to do
go
it
to go
that way.
to your computer and do it. That might the number one troll ask what's with the zesty lighting. Red light is great. Okay, red light.
Okay.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
got here with red light therapy and using a red light in the evening time to prevent throwing off your circadian rhythm. Um, but you can think it's zesty if you want to. That's okay, right? But right, this is not any particular topic that we're covering. We're just going through a test because I'm gonna be doing some content with Black Spring here, and yeah, it's gonna be we're gonna be bringing you information. She has some things that she wants to bring to the people and all that good stuff. Somebody says it reminds him of the Navy. I'm sure it does. Jimmy says I have red light in my house. It's a bulb I got from Walmart. Yeah, you can do that. It's really just about the spectrum of light, right? You don't want bright ass lights at night. You don't need it. And it also helps with your night vision, right? If you don't have bright lights and then you turn the lights off, all of a sudden you're night blind, and that's not good, right? So red light will help you ease into the darkness, and you'll still be able to see. Yes,
Gotcha.
you
I'm gonna get that in here. I'm having some. I don't know. It's funny how this is working right now, but I'll get it. I'll do my best to get it in before it closes out.
you good. You good.
Mm.
Take your time.
But yeah, I was saying that I started out on the something that, somewhat of a walk away.
Right.
It just seemed like there was a time, I don't know, it was a time of enlightenment. And to me, my light doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't have to be in the same vein as someone else's. And that's what, to me, that's what light is.
Yes.
So I kind of took it, and I was figuring some things out. Actually, is what I think is what
Yeah.
my light ended up being. And
Yeah.
before it was over, I was convinced that things are not quite they're not quite shaping up to, there's some holes here that I'm not.
Yeah.
I never branded myself. I'm not sure. I may have said, I may have said that you can find some there. I thought there were some resources there
Yeah.
on a kind of in the conservative ilk, but I
Right.
was it wasn't. It was more of, okay, well, I want to balance this out. I need to see what's going on between both, because I already knew one side, and I
Yeah.
don't know if you want to say that's by default
And you
or
mean the left side, right? When you say
yes,
right, see,
yes, because that's where, that's where I think, whether you want to refer to yourself as African American or Black, that's where I think we end up on that. We end up in that train of thought by
yep,
default. And
yeah,
I didn't necessarily, I wasn't really convinced that that was all. That there's got to be more to this. So
yeah,
I just made up my mind that let's see what's happening. I need to know what's on both sides of this, and then that way I can see where there's a balance, or if there turns out to be there's holes on both sides. So then
yep.
what?
Exactly. And then,
Who do you call? Who do you call when everybody's got holes?
oh, yeah. Well, who do you call? You call the freedom lovers. You call the freedom fighters. Those that aren't concerned with the left or right paradigm, and know that the left right paradigm has been pushed onto us to create division, right? And to convince us that we need to vote either left or we need to vote right. We need to have a certain type of ideology depending on where we come from, how we were raised, what we look like. You know, they pushed that on us. They kind of said, here you go. You have these options, right? They presented two options to you, right?
Yeah,
And there's this glimmer of hope of, well, what if we go independent? What if we go Green Party? What if we go Libertarian? But they never have enough numbers, right? They never get enough of a percentage to even get on the debate stage, right? Why is it always the left and the right on the debate stage when we have all these different third parties, right? They call it. Um, Hold on, guys. You were disillusioned, essentially, right? You were disillusioned by what this. Oh, salute to Real Eyes. Salute to Real Eyes in the building. One of my mods. Salute to you. You were disillusioned by what they were presenting to you, and the information you were getting did not match up with what they wanted us to believe, right? Is that what you would say? Or
yes,
don't
I
let
would say
me
that, but I would even say, and this is to, there's, and this is not to take anything away from, from a generational, respect, or a generational perspectives, but I don't find that there's a lot of there there's not a lot. I mean, if you ask, I mean, even from a parental perspective, I think that even I was able to even show my late father some things, and he would call me sometimes. He would say, what, you said such and such a thing was going to go on, and I'm just thinking, but see, I think that because it's such that most parents that are of, of our background or similar backgrounds, we kind of just go with, it's more like a tribal group think rather than us thinking for ourselves. And in many ways, I kind of found that maybe he didn't maybe feel it was safe for him to have maybe his own ideas, or say, hey, where'd you get this idea from? Where are you getting
right.
these ideas? It seemed like he was relieved that, oh, she told me that this was going to go on, or she told me this was going to happen. And I
Yeah,
just thought, I was hoping, free yourself,
yeah,
say, Dad, free yourself, man. You
exactly.
don't have, you got one life to live. As he say, you don't come through here but one time. And it's the same for you, Dad. If you want to change the way you look at things, you know, no one hears, it's going to give you a better understanding of, where you go. It's going to take you out of the illusion and maybe put you more center at where you really where you are, where you're not. We know where we're
Right.
not, and we know where we are. Those two things we know.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. Whatever Forever says, anarchy will free you. That's what I believe. I believe that anarchy will free people, and people are afraid of anarchy. They think anarchy is one thing when it's not that thing, right? Um, People don't realize that they actually practice anarchy every day in their own lives, right? So uh, when you have the a level of understanding, you were talking about being centered, right? When
Yes.
you say being centered, when I think of centered, I don't think of okay, the center of these two political spectrums, right?
No, 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 no.
They just I don't think that. When I think centered, I think all right, it's like when Buddha becomes Buddha, right? We know Buddha is a monarch, is a Buddha is not a person, right? Buddha is a an idea. Buddha is like a an avatar, so to speak. It's a uh it's like a mantle is the word I'm looking for. Buddha is a mantle. So when Buddha becomes Buddha, they reach to they get to this place where uh they have a certain realization, they have a certain understanding of how the world is, and they reach what you call nirvana or whatever the case may be, and you're like, man, none of this matters, right? The left ideology, the right ideology, none of that matters. What matters is breaking free of that paradigm so that you can have a real understanding of what of how the world is supposed to be versus what they want you to think it is, right?
Yes, I mean I can see that.
What do you think about that?
I just want to. I mean, to me, I wanted just more of a clarity is what I was
Exactly what-
seeking. I really wasn't okay. I see this and I see that, but together, honestly, if we're thinking about from a color spectrum, if you put both, I say this all the time. It's very fundamental lesson. Red and blue make purple. So when and I saw that, I've even seen that from a corporate America kind
Yeah,
of perspective, and towards that time, a lot of things, if you guys probably noticed that you see a lot of purple on your screens, you see a lot of purple in your advertisements. There's
yeah,
purple everywhere. There's purple on your interstate lights, and to me that means something. So to me, it can the center came to me in a different light, and it didn't land on either side.
no,
It's not, I'm never going to go back to, I'm never going to start there, because I know where it is. I know where the line of, can I say, demarcation is.
yeah,
I know where it is.
yep, yep. So salute to Jay can trade nuclear booms. Uh, Timothy Lutter, cute seal. Salute to y'all in the building. Yeah, I mean, and look, man, people don't understand that level of clip. When they don't understand it, see, they don't have that. So when you try to explain what it is, you get a lot of resistance. But I think more and more people are coming around to that, right? Having that clarity, not just going along with the narrative they're being presented by mainstream media, by these pundits, on social media and YouTube, the people they put in front of y'all, they give them this script and they say, hey, man, what are we doing? Right? They tell you what you want to hear. They kind of bring you along, they ease you along. Uh, they shield and they bow and they scrape to certain individuals. And if they put up any level of resistance, guess what? They get made to look like crazy people. They get made to look like they're out of it. They get ostracized. They get demonized. And this is what happens. Why did we? Why did we? Oh yeah, nuclear bombs is wilding out with the comments. But look, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the reason I do this is because I want freedom, right? I want true, unadulterated freedom. You know what I'm saying? But Boshi, no car string today. We're doing something a little different. Right now, this is just a test. I'm bringing on a dear friend of mine. Black Spring with Autumn. She's in there, and you know, every now and then, possibly we're gonna be doing some content together. Just so you guys can get a different look, a different perspective. But we are of like mind, right? So we're along the same wavelength. When you operate with people on the same wavelength, it kind of works together. So I said, you know what? She's great at compiling information, doing research, making it all flow. So we're going to be doing some of that occasionally, until it kind of turns into something, if it does. Yeah. Well, well, I don't know. I don't want to say new content. It's going to be a new way to do content so that you guys can see what I'm talking about, because it's not like I've not done that before. I've done that on a number of occasions where I'm actually going through and showing you guys what I'm telling you about. Um, but every now and then it's good to do that. But I still want it to be interactive. I still want to be able to have these conversations with y'all, because it's important to have dialogue to gain an understanding. Every time we have dialogue, you gain more understanding of where I'm coming from. I'm understanding where you coming from. And hopefully one day, my goal, I'm gonna tell you, I got an agenda. I have an agenda, y'all. I have an agenda, and I'm gonna be out and open with it. My agenda is to get to a place where we can realistically break free from the system, right? To opt out from the system. That is my goal, right? My goal is not to overthrow a government or do any of that type of stuff. No, because well, not. I'm not going to say I wouldn't be happy with an overthrown government. What I'm going to say is my goal is not to try to overthrow the government, but to help people understand that your consent to be governed has been given to these people when you were born. And in the Constitution, since so many people like to use the Constitution, it tells you about the consent to be governed. So we should be able to remove our consent, right? The idea is, my agenda is to help so many people get to that place so that we can come to them and say, look, we want to remove consent. That is my goal, right? Is to have us be allowed to, without government retaliation, because there's going to be some of that. There's going to be some
Correct.
the government, right? They're not going to be happy with it. They're not going to be happy with it, but they can go fly a freaking kite, if you get my meaning. Um, but my hope is to get to a place where we can opt out. Jim Peacock says bright white lights are designed to make a person angry, not calming. Yes, red light is very calming. I enjoy using red light at night. I think it's better for your circadian rhythm. Right, like right now, I feel like I can go to sleep right now. But Black, what do you think about that? What do you think about opting out of government rulership?
I think it would be a step in the right direction, because I
Yeah,
think right now I think as bad as many people don't want to admit, I don't think we're any close to the liberty that we speak of. It has guardrails.
yeah,
And there's always scheming and squabbling, even at the expense of the emotions, to keep us there, or to bring us back to what you refer to as the left right paradigm, or to bring us
yeah,
back to the, oh well, this illusion. And I just don't see, I rarely do you hear them, do you hear, dare I say, conservative types say, you used to hear it a little bit more, that, what did they do when they asked Ben Franklin about the type of government did we do we have? Do
yeah,
we have a republic? What do we have? And he told them that we have a republic if you can keep it. But the caveat is, kind of left out
yeah,
most of the time. I mean, I think most people will bend, and there again, that's the point of history, in which, you know, I have my ideas about, history, and the writers of the history, and who
right,
the actual winner is. and
Yeah.
but it's more like who controls the information is seems to be, the real winner. Because
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
think, it would be we. I think we need something. We need another option, and and we have to do it ourselves. They're not going to. They don't want to relinquish the power. I mean, if you go back to the CV-19,
Mhm.
we saw a lot. There was a lot of evidence that even after, we're having an easing period, that many of them didn't want to relinquish that power. I mean, it was
Nope.
too. It was, to me, it revealed, they exposed themselves,
Yes.
and many of them did, and unfortunately, many of them, I'm not sure that, I'm not sure if they ever have relinquished it, because the same people that go along with them will support them if something were to happen right now in 48
Yep.
hours. they'd
Yep.
still have they still have they'd have some of the same followers. They would, as they said, they would ride with them until the wheels fall off, even right now. Some people
Yeah.
are not learning. They're not. I don't know if it's because of cognitive dissonance, but hey,
Yeah.
they're going to stay. It's safer for them. They like their rulership. They like their, you know which ruler did you pick? They prefer that more
Yes.
than anything. And then I've said it's more profitable for the people in control for them to keep them on that track. So, and
Oh,
that's where they want you to stay. That's why everything kind of brings political things and tragedies, and and dare I say, people going out, and I don't mean out to lunch. It always brings us back.
man, doesn't it though?
Yeah.
Too much resistance, and they will, like you said, take you out to lunch or take you out. And you, I mean,
Yeah, it doesn't take long. I mean, yeah. I mean, and it's always like right now. I'm already looking for I'm already looking for a pattern on something like this. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that later if you want. But
oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
yeah, we're just yeah, things are not feeling. I mean, if you ask the average person, do you feel free? I mean, where's your source of freedom coming from? I mean, do you have freedoms? Yes, but there's condition. It's conditional. You
Condition.
know, it's
Exactly.
conditional. It's if you do this, you can have
Yeah.
this. If you can do this, you can have this, and
Yeah.
some things you never come out of just based on what's put in place.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And Bear Claw says media gives the wrong definition of what anarchy even is. You're absolutely correct about that. Jim Peacock says anarchy is better than government overreach. Absolutely. But people are afraid of anarchy because of, like Bear Claw said, they give the wrong definition. They tell you that anarchy is this and that, and it's not. Realize says I would love to opt out to be an option. Yes, retaliation will be the price for freedom because there's system failed us and only benefits the 1%. They want to control us to follow the herd. That that's exactly what they want. And anarchy is not something to fear. Anarchy is something that we do all the time. We exercise anarchy every day, right? Within our own little confines, within our own little fiefdom that we have around us, right? That the government can't get to, right? So when you no one decides when you get up to brush your teeth. No one decides when you can eat and when you can't eat. No one decides what you put on, right? You choose all those things for yourself, right? So you're practicing anarchy, meaning anarchy means simply no authority. No authority is telling you that you got to brush your teeth at a certain time. No authority is telling me that I have to have a white light on, right? These are things that I'm choosing for myself. So every time you make a choice to do something, you're making a conscious decision to do something. Well, you're exercising freedom and anarchy as far as you can. They don't care when you brush your teeth. You know what I'm saying? They don't care, right? But when it goes into things they do care about, well, you'll find out very quickly. They will take your freedom to uh, for you to decide when to brush your teeth, when to eat, what to wear. They'll put you in a jail cell. That's when you completely lose your freedoms. You think you're free because you're not in a jail cell, right? But you're not free, right? You practice certain freedoms but you're not free because if you wanted to go do something uh, outside in the world that they don't want you to do, and they don't have a good justification for it, it's just they decided like, oh well, you got to go get a permission slip to go spend a night in the woods somewhere. What if I just want to go camping? I want to go camping. I want to go. I want to take my tent. I want to go do this. I want to go do that. And then I'm going to set up a tent and I'm going to spend a few nights in the woods by the lake. No one lives here. It's no one's private property. But a park ranger will run up on you and say, "What are you doing? Do you have a permit? You got to have a permission slip to go enjoy nature. I got to go. The park closes at sunset around the corner. I can't hang out at the park past sunset unless there's an event, right? What if I just want to sit here, lay in the grass, and stare at the stars? You know what I'm saying? Do it in your backyard. What if I don't want to do it in my backyard, right? What if I decide I want to leave my backyard? You can't do it. You can't do it. These are things that people don't think about. They don't think about what if I want to just go and hang out here or hang out there? What if I want to go somewhere and do whatever I want, mind my own goddamn business? What if I want to go fishing without a permit? You need a permission slip in many cases to go fishing. You need a permission slip
Yeah,
to go.
thank you.
You need a permission to do this and do that. You got to pay the government 30 to 50 to $70 a night to hook up your R to go take your RV and park it somewhere. There is nowhere where you're 100% free to do as you choose. Let's see. Bear Claw says no man has the right to rule another. You're absolutely right. Unless they want them to rule over them. If you want to exist in a world where, well, I need somebody to lead me. I can't lead myself. I can't be self sufficient. I need to exist in a community where there is a ruler. You have every right to do that, to choose a ruler for yourself. But that doesn't mean that anybody that doesn't want it should be forced to have a ruler. Am I in battle conditions? Aren't we always in battle conditions? What's with the red light, P. Norton? The red light is very therapeutic, especially at night. So look up the benefits of red light at night. You know what I'm saying? Um, no, I'm not in battle conditions. Cosmic Purple Chocobo says, like, why the hell I need permission to fish on stolen land? That's a great question, right? That's a great question. Before colonialism, before all that shit, before industrialization, no one cared, right? There were nomadic tribes moving about the land, just rolling with what they had. They go fishing, they go hunting, they'll set up a camp, they'll set up their teepee, they'll set up their tent, and they mind their own goddamn business. They'll fight off wolves and lions and bears. That was the danger they faced. Their danger
Yeah.
was and other tribes that may war with over some bit of land that they're trying to gather food and whatnot from. Salute to Sister Shawa in the building. Salute to you, Queen. She said there's a lot of hidden things in America, which is why the government took up the land. Y'all forbidden to stumble upon another Grand Canyon. Yes, yes. Don't you got to pay to go to the Grand Canyon and look at a huge chasm in the ground?
Yeah, it's nationalized.
Yeah,
I find that a lot of the back country is if it's not nationalized, you still can't. It's still under it's still under the government's
yes.
domain. You can't just go. You can't just go out and just.
You can't just go do shit.
You
You
can't
can't.
go.
I can't just go. I can't take a road trip to some. I can't go mind my business somewhere. I got to go get a permission slip. I got to go. Oh well, if you want the land, you got to buy it. Well, there is so much rural open space. There's so much rural space where people can live. They talk about overcrowding and overpopulation. Well, tell the government to release the lands that they are controlling. They won't do it because they don't want you to. Jeanette says, "Do you have rules in your house?" No, I don't have rules in my house. I have guidelines in my house that my children have to follow. And understand this. This is something that Brian from High Pet Flicks has said as well that I agree with. The only true authority one person has over another is a parent over their children. Do you know why? Somebody do. What do you think about that, Black Spring with Autumn? Does it make sense for you, for me to have authority over my children, or can they
Well,
just go out and exist in? Can my 4-year-old child go outside and do things without my guidance and without, uh, you know, just can he just go do whatever he wants and survive very long? No,
no, no, I would say that they need
they
some
need guidance.
guardrails for safety for their own well being, but for the
Now,
unknown, for what they
think
don't
that.
know.
Yes, Black Spring, you said guide rails. Now think about, because you mentioned guide rails earlier, right?
Yeah.
Now think about it. Who are the children in relation to government and, and, and the people? Are we children?
No. Well, I think we're treated that way.
We're treated that way, right? They have authority over us. They give us these laws, these man-made laws. They give us these guidelines and edicts that they want us to follow, as though we're what? As though we're
Children.
children.
Children, yeah, very much.
So, what about the roads and the bridges? We always hear this, right? And I always talk about the roads, the bridges, the hospitals, the this, the that, the EPA, the Food and Drug Administration, um, all these regulatory agencies that make sure we're safe, make sure public health is a priority, right? Like a restaurant. Well, you need a health inspector to go to a restaurant. Well, yeah, you can have somebody inspect the restaurant, but it doesn't have to be government. You get what I'm saying?
I got you. I got
There's a way to do it. Like, because people think you can't do these things without government. You can absolutely inspect a restaurant. So let's say you have a small community of people, and then there's someone operating a restaurant within that community. Uh, guess what? If you want us to patronize your restaurant, then you're going to allow us to come in here and inspect your restaurant and make sure it's clean and sanitary, and or we're not going to eat here. We're going to tell people, look, they got rats and roaches. They don't clean shit. Enter at your own risk. I got pictures. They don't want to clean it up. We offer to help. Like, look, how about as a community, we come help you clean up this shithole restaurant, make it sanitary, and then you don't want to do that. Well, then we're going to spread the word. Let's see how far your business goes. You don't need government to do that. Shawa says they really don't. The authority is self-appointed with the threat of their great equalizer. Facts. So, what do you think about that, Black Spring? Do you think that these things are achievable without government?
I do, because I think that a lot of times it's just, when we have a common interest, if we live in common unity, we're investing in not only that restaurant, we're investing in ourselves, we're investing in, our own, the longevity of our own health, the longevity of the success, or what comes into of our economy. What we put into it is going to be what the people of that community put into it.
Because make no mistake, right? Humans are naturally social creatures, right? We're social animals, right? By
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah.
So you got animals that are social. You got animals that are solitary, like a tiger. A tiger is solitary. They don't fox with other tigers unless it's mating season, right?
Right.
Well, humans are naturally social creatures. So somehow we have survived century after century without government, right? In our small little enclaves, our small little tribes, our small little tiny villages, right?
Yeah.
People have existed and they work together, right? Are there guidelines or are there rules? Sure. But guess what? If you don't want to fuck with it, you can just leave the tribe, right? You become a man or a woman, or you grab a woman, you go off and do your own thing, and you take whoever you want with you. If you don't like what's going on, guess what? They opted out throughout history. Before government rule, people existed together, and when they didn't like something that was going on in the community, they either convinced others to make changes or they left. This is how we have gotten so far across the world from the cradle of Africa, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need government to exist as social beings, right? I don't think.
No, no. I don't think so, but I just think at this point we are there's so many levels, and to me they just keep on adding, that the laws are making their own laws, and it's just, that's where the corruption comes in. Because I mean, that's what I mean. I say this a lot of times, even when it comes to communities or whatnot. Well, you don't need to create any more, you don't need to create any more laws. If you just maybe, if you could have just maybe stayed where you were, instead of
Yeah,
just adding, if you just keep adding more and more and more and more, at some point you're not no one's going to, you just can't, you kind of keep undermining the concept of it. It's less free. It
it,
is.
exactly. Shawa says yes, Black Spring. A government is truly supposed to protect people, not lord over them. A community with common goals, ideals will protect itself. Yes, and what wasn't that supposed to be the idea behind the forefathers freeing us? What
Yeah,
happened? They came up with these Federalist Papers. Where'd they get that from? Where'd they get that idea from? What do you think about that?
well, I find that there again, to me, I think the founders. I don't really think that most people that do a lot of quoting of the founders, I don't think they've done a whole lot of research on that. I don't really think that they know the whole, oh, this founding father did this or this founding father signed that. They don't really know. I think that they look a lot at the writings from that time, which, that's, establishing, the language, and some of the conventions of our communication, that was important for that. But I don't really think they really knew the values, the values. They're not it's not this romantic,
No,
thing that they want, they kind of, it's just like they just kind of look to that. To me, I don't think anybody can be that prophetic in my mind. It's not. I mean, I don't think it's a prophetic thing, and I think they kind of speak of the founding fathers in a tone that suggests that, oh well, they warned about this type of, they warned about tyranny, and da 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 da, and well, maybe they did, but do you think that just came out of, they woke up and they were anointed with that type of,
no,
with the prophecy? No, I don't, but I don't think that they know enough about, you know what they actually, what they stood for, beyond, like, what kind of lifestyle did they lead, what type of communities were they in, was it ideal, were people, did people want more. From what I from the even from the Hollywood versions, it's just, it doesn't line up.
no,
Okay, the philosophies and what I've seen, it just doesn't really line up. So I'm just thinking that narrative, to me, doesn't really, it hasn't aged that well. I
no,
kind of, most things are futurism and all these things. I give it a side eye, because no one is that prophetic.
no, not even a little bit. Because it's and that's the funny thing, because these founding fathers, they wrote the Federalist Papers, and they had this idea: let's create the central government to protect us from tyranny overseas, so no one will try it again. But what they ended up doing is all they did was localize the tyranny. They say, you know what? We don't want overseas tyranny. Let's just bring the tyranny right here into the United States, into Washington D.C., and then we'll lord over the people that way. We'll convince the leader of these colonies that, oh well, you need us. We need to have this pact, right, to in order to protect us from tyranny. But all they did was gave way for these people to create tyranny. Shawa, salute to, let me do a little bit of shouting out.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. I mean, I just, and when I say they, for those, I'm speaking of the diehards, the
They
diehard
know who you talking.
conservative types. I'm talking about,
Yeah,
what you might want to call. You can call them whatever you like. You can call them
yeah,
right. You can call them the right brothers, but they're still, hey, it's that's those are their heroes. They're not mine.
facts.
So let's
Beautiful.
just, so let's get the day. Let's take let's go ahead and rip the band-aid off.
Yeah, let's rip it right on off.
If you're
See,
sore about me saying something about a conservative or the right, and that let's get it off right now.
yeah,
You
they
look,
your heroes. Like she said, they're your heroes,
yeah, they're
not
your
ours.
they're maybe they're their hero, or they're their heroes, or they're their, that's your God. That's not mine. It's
Nope,
not. So I don't subscribe to, I just romanticisms over, I think I think it's valuable. I think history and perspectives on history are valuable, but there again, you need to read more than one perspective to draw your own conclusion.
that's a fact. Absolutely. Jeanette Calvert says government contract companies to work on roads. Exactly, private companies that privately build the roads. Shawa, salute to Sandra Wells. She said hi. Shawa says, LOL, the fact that they took land that was governed and occupied and decided to erect the Constitution and laws is problematic. They were criminals and thieves to begin with. This is true. The founding fathers, yeah, they don't want to talk about that, and they also own slaves. So let's get that straight right there. They didn't, you know what I mean? We're still living in the British Empire. No, I think we're living in an Israeli Empire. Personally, I think Israeli Empire. You know what I'm saying? Realize laughs. Cosmic Purple Chocobo says, Shawa is the GOAT. She is. She is. Shawa is great. Y'all go check her out. Shawa, you know I'm gonna do it. You know I'm gonna tell you to drop your channel link. She does a lot of boxing talk, by the way. Shawa is a boxing aficionado. So Kangar J says everybody's a hero in their own story. Yeah. I mean, but what story do these people have? What what are they stories? Do they have stories? What
Yeah.
is Tatum's story? He told y'all that he went to college and he was a black man, and then the white women was all over him. So then from there he fell in love with white folks, and then he his life's mission from that point was to uh you know what was to kowtow to white conservatives. That's the bottom line to it. So I guess that he is the hero to the story. ZV says many discrete pictures and videos not shown any more to the public. All of them showing actual founding people of the Americas and Atlantic Ocean civilizations. Shaw says we're absolutely living in an Israeli empire. Love to hear you cook on that one day soon. Oh man, I listen. There's so much going on with Israel right now. Trust me, the content is endless. And right now they are marching through Gaza, and they are performing a full scale invasion. Hold on, I think she's supposed to be there at 6 o'clock. Of course, she's taking long to get ready. So, uh, of course, she got to make sure she on point. But Israel is doing their thing. They are expanding their empire in the Middle East, and once they're done, then they will come out as the true leaders of the free world, right? The so-called free world. I think that's when they're going to stop playing the charade of, oh, us poor little, look, we're the poor little Israel over here. We're so bullied by everybody. No, no, they're going to come out, and when they come out, it's going to be it's going to be something else. When America will not be the same when Israel takes over the entire Middle East. All right, guys. Salute to Mind and Mansa Musa, but I got to get out of here. My daughter's ready to go to her homecoming dance. So, of course, I got to make sure I step up in there and let them know that her baba is present. You understand? So, all right, y'all. But Black Spring, when I get back, maybe we can get back on and do a little something. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay. Give me a buzz.
Make sure y'all go check out Black Spring's channel. I don't know if she dropped the
I
link.
have not been, I think it's funny. I've not been successful with that. I can like the stream, but I cannot
Okay,
from this angle. I cannot. So I don't know.
here I
Maybe
come.
so. Maybe you want to try it. Maybe we can try another angle for the next time, next test.
All right, sounds good. But I'll holler at y'all later. Much love, like, share, subscribe. We gonna keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Black Spring.